Aloha, twin flames! Welcome to Confessions of a Divine Feminine. And my first video! Woohoo! You guys may call me Leilani. It means heavenly flowers in Hawaiian. I created this channel to provide all of you beautiful souls with a place to share your journey and stories with the collective. If you'd like to share your twin flame story anonymously on this channel, please feel free to email me at dfconfessions@gmail.com. I've recently become aware that purging feels amazing and we shouldn't be afraid to do so. It's a very necessary part of our journey. Emotional outpouring is extremely cathartic. I get so many more downloads from my guides when I simply allow myself to feel and heal. So I'm inviting all of you guys to do the same thing with me. I apologize in advance if I begin to cry while sharing this very personal story. I admittedly did cry a fair bit while I was writing it. I also want you to know that I'm in a very good place right now, and that's why I have the strength to open up to you. Finally. So, grab a glass of wine, relax, and make yourself comfortable. Here we go. I've always been a bit spiritual and never would have called myself an atheist. However, I don't subscribe to traditional religious viewpoints. I believe religion brings out the very best, and yet the very worst in people. The word God still triggers me, and I'm working on that. Spirituality was just not a big part of my life before I met my twin. At the beginning of 2019, I had hit rock bottom, and I now realize I was experiencing my dark night. Within the last 7 years, I've lost several family members, many friends, 2 jobs, the hope of having children, and was tested as gene positive for a brutal disease. The tower moments seemed relentless, and I was ready to give up. As my depression worsened, my husband became frustrated with my inability to participate in the physical world. He was demanding, controlling, and just unpleasant to be around. I was convinced he didn't love me anymore. I wanted very much to join the spiritual world because I knew something beautiful was waiting for me there. And that's when Spirit decided to show me that the same beauty actually exists here in the 3D. My husband is a small business owner and works long hours. So I spent much of my time at home alone with my toxic thoughts. I would drown my sorrows with alcohol and watch people on Periscope. I wasn't looking for anything romantic, just people to talk to. I was starving for human interaction and friendship. One night, I began speaking with a man who I immediately found to be pleasant and just really easy to talk to. I normally put up a wall when I meet people, thanks to my Scorpio rising, but I somehow found myself trusting this complete stranger. I tried not to think about his physical attractiveness, but he was very cute and very masculine. I really like that in a man. We had a lot in common, and we were actually drinking the exact same beer when we first met. He was flirting with other women in his chat, but he maintained focus on me. He asked who wanted to become his Periscope wife. I said I would, but that I was married in real life. He said that he was also married. This made me feel much more comfortable, and I decided to join his stream the next day. He started begging me to be his friend on Snapchat. I was new to the app and was hesitant. Where was all of this leading? He said, "Be my friend." So I agreed. I was shy to show him a picture of myself. My self-esteem was non-existent at that point. My husband never complimented me, and I thought I'd become ugly. I summoned the courage and finally sent one. His response, "Are you really this hot?" Wow. He complimented every feature of my face, especially my lips. I'd never thought much about them before. Things quickly progressed from there, and our flirtation grew more intense by the day. I commented on that intensity, and he shrugged it off. I asked him to tell me something he was afraid of. He replied, "Getting you pregnant." My body had a physical response to this, telling me it wanted his seed. That was my first clue that our connection was not normal. I now understand this means we've probably had children in previous lives. And then I just began to realize I knew things about him. For example, I guessed he had married as a virgin and had only ever been with one woman. It was true. When I learned that, you guys, I felt so dirty, like I was trying to steal his virtue. But I just yearned to be with him, and I would have driven across the country to do so if he had asked me to. It was the most passion I've ever experienced in my life. One day, I was just too fed up to allow our flirtation to continue. I told him I wanted him under no uncertain terms, that my desire was never going to subside, and that continuing this connection with no hope of a future was just torture. I forced him to tell me what he wanted. His response was, "I want us to be single." And that's when I was ghosted and blocked from all of his social media. You guys, I was dumbfounded. What the hell had I just experienced? How could a man come into my life and turn it upside down? Just like that. How could I feel so much passion for a stranger, let alone a married man? I'd always been so loyal to my husband, and I felt so guilty. But I couldn't let it go. I turned to psychics and tarot card readings without many answers. After 2 weeks of searching, a psychic finally confirmed that I'd met a soulmate. She said she only uses that term for very special connections. She called me her unicorn. After my intuition had finally been validated, I remembered a term I'd seen in some YouTube comments. Late that night, sitting next to my sleeping husband, I searched, What is a twin flame? I watched the first video on the list and it changed my life fully and completely. It described everything I'd experienced with my divine masculine and everything I'd experienced since our separation. It also confirmed everything I'd always intuitively known about the spiritual world. I swear, Spirit actually came and said hello to me in that moment. I finally knew it was love I felt for my divine masculine, that it was okay to love him, and that the love is absolutely pure and true. I looked back on our correspondence and I just laughed and laughed. All of my stress melted away and I just absorbed the beauty of divine energy. I didn't sleep that night. I've since told my twin about my experience and that he saved my life. He needed to know the immense gratitude I have for him. If nothing else, I'm so comforted by the fact that he is on this planet with me. I've told him that too. He opened my eyes to the beauty of humanity. A beauty I didn't even know existed. He placed me on my spiritual journey and ultimately gave me a reason to continue living this life. He is my guardian angel, and I'd love to meet him one day. It would be so amazing just to look him in the eyes and hold his hand. I will share all that happened after my spiritual awakening in the next video. And yet, I'm looking forward to hearing about your individual experiences. Have you met your twin in the 3D? How did you realize you met your divine counterpart? I love you guys so much. Please like, share, and subscribe. Mwah! Much aloha. Ta-ta.